'Tis just, said Priam, to the sire above to raise our hands, for who so good as Jove? He spoke, and bade the attendant handmaid bring the purest water of the living spring. Her ready hands the ewer and basin held, then took the golden cup his queen had filled. On the mid-pavement pours the rosy wine, uplifts his eyes and calls the power divine. O first and greatest, heaven's imperial lord, on lofty Ida's holy hill adored, to stern Achilles now direct my ways, and teach him mercy when a father prays. If such thy will, dispatch from yonder sky thy sacred bird, celestial augury. Let the strong sovereign of the plumy race tower on the right on yon ethereal space. So shall thy suppliant, strengthened from above, fearless pursue the journey marked by Jove. Jove heard his prayer, and from the throne on high dispatched his bird, celestial augury, the swift-winged chaser of the feathered game, and known to gods by Percnus' lofty name. Wide as appears some palace gate displayed, so broad his pinions stretched their ample shade, as stooping dexter, with resounding wings, the imperial bird descends in airy rings. A dawn of joy in every face appears, the morning matron dries her timorous tears. Swift on his car the impatient monarch sprung, the brazen portal in his passage rung. The mules preceding draw the loaded wain, charged with the gifts, Idaeus holds the rein. The king himself his gentle steeds controls, and through resounding friends the chariot rolls. On his slow wheels the following people wait, mourn at each step, and give him up to fate. With hands uplifted, eye him as he passed, and gaze upon him as they gazed their last. Now forward fares the father on his way, through the lone fields, and back to Ilion they. Great Jove beheld him as he crossed the plain, and felt the woes of miserable man. Then thus to Hermes, Thou, whose constant care still succour mortals, and attend their prayers, behold an object to thy charge consigned, if ever pity touch thee for mankind. Go, guard the sire, the observing foe prevent, and safe conduct him to Achilles' tent. The god obeys. His golden pinions binds, and mounts incumbent on the wings of winds. That high, though through fields of air, his flight sustain, o'er the wide earth, and o'er the boundless main. Then grasps the wand that causes sleep to fly, or in soft slumbers seals the wakeful eye. Thus armed, swift Hermes steers his airy way, and stoops on Hellespont's resounding sea. A beauteous youth, majestic and divine, he seemed, fair offspring of some princely line. Now twilight veiled the glaring face of day, and clad the dusky fields in sober grey. What time the herald and the hoary king, their chariots stopping at the silver spring that circling Ilus' ancient marble flows, allowed their mules and steeds a short repose. Through the dim shade the herald first espies a man's approach, and thus to Priam cries, I mark some foe's advance, O king, beware! This hard adventure claims thy utmost care, for much I fear destruction hovers nigh. Our state asks counsel, is it best to fly? Or, old and helpless at his feet to fall, two wretched suppliants, and for mercy call? The afflicted monarch shivered with despair, pale grew his face, and upright stood his hair. Sunk was his heart, his colour went and came, a sudden trembling shook his aged frame, when Hermes greeting touched his royal hand, and gentle thus accost with kind demand. Say whither, father? When each mortal sight is sealed in sleep, thou wanderest through the night. Why roam thy mules and steeds the plains along, through Grecian foes, so numerous and so strong? What couldst thou hope, shouldst thee thy treasures view, these who with endless hate thy race pursue? For what defence, alas, couldst thou provide, thyself not young, a weak old man thy guide? Yet suffer not thy soul to sink with dread, from me no harm shall touch thy reverend head. From Greece I'll guard thee too, for in those lines the living image of my father shines. Thy words, that speak benevolence of mind, are true, my son, the godlike sire rejoined. Great are my hazards, but the gods survey my steps, and send thee, guardian, to my way. Hail, and be blessed, for scarce of mortal kind appear thy form, thy feature, and thy mind. Nor true are all thy words, nor erring wide, the sacred messenger of heaven replied. But say, convey'st thou through the lonely plains what yet most precious of thy store remains, to lodge in safety with some friendly hand, prepared perchance to leave thy native land? Or fliest thou now? What hopes can Troy retain, thy matchless son, her guard in glory slain? The king alarmed, say what, and whence thou art, who searched the sorrows of a parent's heart, and know so well how godlike Hector died. Thus Priam spoke, and Hermes thus replied, You tempt me, father, and with pity touch. On this sad subject you inquire too much. Oft have these eyes that godlike Hector viewed in glorious fight with Grecian blood imbrued. I saw him when, like Jove, his flames he tossed on 1,000 ships, and withered half a host. I saw, but helped not. Stern Achilles' ire forbade assistance, and enjoyed the fire. For him I serve, of Myrmidonian race. One ship conveyed us from our native place. Polyctor is my sire, an honoured name. Old like thyself, and not unknown to fame. Of 7 his sons, by whom the lot was cast to serve our prince, it fell on me the last. To watch this quarter my adventure falls, for with morn the Greeks attack your walls. Sleepless they sit, impatient to engage, and scarce their rulers check their martial rage. If then thou art of stern Pelides' train, the mournful monarch thus rejoined again, then tell me truly where are laid my son's dear relics? What befalls him dead? Have dogs dismembered on the naked plains, or yet unmangled rest his cold remains? O favourite of the skies, thus answered then the power that mediates between God and men, nor dogs nor vultures have thy Hector rent, but whole he lies neglected in the tent. This the 12th evening since he rested there, untouched by worms, untainted by the air. Still as Aurora's ruddy beam is spread, round his friend's tomb Achilles drags the dead. Yet undisfigured, or in limb or face, all fresh he lies, with every living grace majestical in death. No stains are found o'er all the corse, and closed is every wound, though many a wound they gave. Some heavenly care, some hand divine preserves him ever fair. Or all the host of heaven, to whom he led a life so grateful, still regard him dead. Thus spoke to Priam the celestial guide, and joyful thus the royal sire replied, Blessed is the man who pays the gods above the constant tribute of respect and love. Blessed is the man who pays the gods above the constant tribute of respect and love. Those who inhabit the Olympian bower my son forgot not in exalted power. And heaven, that every virtue bears in mind, even to the ashes of the just is kind. But thou, O generous youth, this goblet take, a pledge of gratitude for Hector's sake. And while the favouring gods our steps survey, safe to Pelides' tent, conduct my way. To whom the latent god, O king, forbear to tempt my youth, for apt is youth to err. But can I, absent from my prince's sight, take gifts in secret that must shun the light? What, from our master's interest thus we draw, is but a licensed theft that escapes the law. Respecting him, my soul abjures the offence, and as the crime I dread the consequence. Thee, far as Argos, pleased I could convey, guard of thy life and partner of thy way. On thee attend, thy safety to maintain, o'er pathless forests, or the roaring main.